The all there is and all there ever was is the purity of the child. It's amazing. And what we got with that, but this card really, whew, with that other card, the perfection card, and then the inner child card, and that is the purest form of love in the heart. That is the Christ consciousness. That is telling me, whew, that's a message. That is the divine message, the number one, the I am, the all. Number one, the I am, the all there is and all there ever was is the purity of the child. Next words, you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me, either or. Your energy might not match mine. So if you don't feel anything and your frequency isn't jiving with me, I'm cool with it. I'm okay. Not everybody will like me. Not everybody will love me. But I love everybody. I really do. I'm trying to help everybody I possibly can get out, and maybe they can get out and they can help somebody. For one, the I am, the all there is and all there ever was is the purity of the child. It's amazing. And what we got with that as a clarifier from the Oceanic Tarot is the we've been getting this a lot. Find it. Surprise you. I'll do my inner child. Boop. The Ace of Pentacles. Prosperity. You know, once we pull this ego trip and look away from the imperfections and look at them as the beautiful magical whole, okay, and motivate ourselves to do that with the motivation card, with the divine message, the Three of Wands, the three of the Trinity, okay, this is the purity of the Christ consciousness within the inner child. And this is the prosperity that that brings, the inner child. Because once you find that, you will have your balance. You will have your masculine, feminine, inner child. You're balanced. And that child card, re-listen to that, because that is where we are. That is part of the dark night of the soul. And I kind of explained it to everybody, he doesn't like it when I call it the dark night of the soul. He thinks that sounds evil. It's not that kind of evil. Okay, let's use our different perception. The dark night of the soul is you releasing everything that child card just said, all that dark, negative, past. Release it. And remember the beautiful, joyful things that happen. We all, and all of us do this. I love to describe things with my hands. I'm a hand person. Okay. I try to catch myself doing that because I don't want to be like, anyway, that is when we get to our Nasara Jasara. That we have to work on ourselves. There's some things that are happening around that we don't understand, that we might think, well, that's not good. Well, that's not good. Who's in charge? We're going to start seeing stuff. We're going to start seeing more and more and more. It's going to come flowing out. And there was a lot of interesting things that were said. So I'm going to keep going because this is an amazing reading so far. And so far I've cried, and I love my soul family, my familia. I love them. Okay. When I get together with you guys, I always just let myself go. And I've been taking this thing because I have a problem with my finger, and I've been taking this said something like a steroid, and I'm like, I don't want to gain weight, blah. And he says, just take it for 14 days because I have this problem with my thumb really bad. And I started taking it, and I'm like sitting out here, and I'm taking breaks, and I'm going, and we have the air on and everything. And my husband, he has neuropathy, so he gets cold. And I'm like dying, and he's like, you're going through the change. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just started taking medicine, and I'm dying now. And I looked, and these steroids make you have hot flashes. So I'm going to quit taking it tomorrow. I'm done with that. I can suffer with my thumb. It's okay. I always give myself something that I can't handle anyway. I don't like medicine, so uh, I forgot all about this because it was so late when I did this at midnight, and then I got busy and stuff. I had to write them all down because I got so many that come out, and I didn't realize the cards that actually came out the way they did, because we got the 11 of fire, the masculine and feminine. And that's what I just said. We need the masculine, the feminine, and the inner child. And we're complete, we're balanced. And that's when Source brings us our prosperity, because we are balanced with the flow of motivation and letting go of the ego and being the perfect, magical us. So far, I love this reading. Oh my goodness, I did not realize this reading was this good when I did it. Because, a lot of times I'm tired, and when I do these readings and stuff, I try to pull the cards at midnight so I can wait for the next day. So I get more energies of that day, and I get really tired because we've had a busy life since the hurricane. So I get really tired, and sometimes I pay attention to them when I'm writing them up so I can remember how they come out. But then I don't think about them for a while. And then when they come out, it's like, wow, I believe I had that. So I can't believe I had the masculine and feminine. Put aside gender stereotypes. We are both masculine and feminine. Masculine energy serves to protect. Feminine energy serves to nurture. Too much of one, not enough of the other. Time to evaluate and realign. Allow the energy to increase and ebb. Embrace the energy that best suits your needs. The 11 of Fire is a balancing and realigning card. It symbolizes the importance of balancing our masculine and feminine energies, and to remind us we are and will always be a mix of both. Our physical gender is irrelevant. The 11 of Fire asks that we look beyond physical gender stereotypes to how we respond and react to day-to-day experiences. On an energetic level, our masculine aspect serves to protect self and others, while our feminine aspect serves to nurture self and others. In a simplistic society, a typical male will embody a more masculine energy than feminine. They are characteristically more aggressive and forceful, but also very protective of those they feel are in need of protection. However, they are more apt to use physical force and aggression to protect. A typical female, however, will embody more feminine energy than masculine. They are characteristically more passive and yielding, and while possessing the same desire to protect the vulnerable, they will generally use diplomacy and dialogue in order to determine an option that avoids conflict. Yeah, we do. I avoid conflict any way I can get. My husband is impatient. He's ready to tell somebody off that's doing something stupid. And I'm going, just calm down. You don't know what kind of day they had, blah, blah, blah. I'm tired. So, yeah, I see that. I see that. That is true. Let's see. Gender stereotypes are often one-dimensional and are rarely accurate, especially when we are discussing masculine and feminine energies as opposed to man and woman. It can become even more problematic to assign specific attributes to either gender when there are many men who identify as female and women who identify as male. When it comes to the masculine and feminine energy, we all have both, regardless of our physical gender or the gender we have assigned ourselves, and this energy is expressed in how we behave and act. It influences all that we do. Masculine energy is active, impatient, assertive, creative, aggressive, forceful, protective, logical, analytical, and controlling. Feminine energy is inactive, calm, retiring, receptive, passive, yielding, nurturing, emotional, intuitive, and allowing. Masculine energy motivates us to focus upon our personal needs and self, while feminine energy motivates us to think of others and their needs. Again, regardless of the gender, a person who is energetic and proactive is embracing masculine energy, while a person who is calm and passive is embracing feminine energy. Neither is
Hello, crypto enthusiasts.
instructible,
Welcome back to our
good or
channel, your trusted
bad.
source for all
But
things
if an
cryptocurrency.
imbalance is
If you're new
present, it
here,
can be
don't forget to hit that
evident
subscribe button
in
and
our
ring the bell to
actions
stay
and give
updated on the
rise
latest
to
market trends.
destructive behavior. An imbalance can occur when we have too much of one and not enough of the other all the time. Too much of one without enough influence from the other can create a very discordant and destructive mix. But what is the right mix? This is not about having equal parts of both, but about having a harmonious blend that is suited to your lifestyle and personal goals and needs. If you are not assertive enough, you may need to embrace more masculine energy. If you are overly assertive to the point where others are always intimidated by you, then consider embracing a little more feminine energy and softening your approach. An aggressive approach or method is sometimes required in order to break from the old and make way for the new. But aggressive
I say silver is the biggest bargain I have ever seen.
Have to be violent.
You know, and I'm still buying it because it's an industrial metal as well as a precious metal. All the gold is still left in the world, but silver is disappearing. Is that an adequate summary?
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So how come the price isn't going up then? Why does it stay flat? Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, broadcasting from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, where it's either heaven or hell. And right now it's still heaven. And in a couple of months, it'll be hell. Anyway, I'm excited about this guest simply because, you know, we've suffered long and hard together. And this is Peter Kraut.
That's right.
And he's the author of the book, The Great Silver Bull. Is that correct, Peter?
It is. That's correct.
And I've been a silver nut for I don't know how long because, you know, this here is a 1964 Kennedy half dollar. And in 1964, I was 17 years old. And I picked up the half dollar and I looked at it and it had copper around it. And I said, what the heck are they doing? So this is the last of the pure silver American coins. It's the Kennedy half dollar. Today, this 50-cent piece is worth about $12. Okay, so what America did was we violated Gresham's law. And Gresham's law is a very important law in the world of money. And Gresham's law states when fake money enters a system, real money goes into hiding. So what happened in 64, I started saving these. I used to caddy. So I was growing up in Hawaii, and I'd go up to the golf course, and I'd caddy for one bag for 9 holes, 2 bags for $2, you know. And if I got $4, I went 18 holes and all that stuff. And I'd go to the bank and I'd take my dollar, and then I would pull out the real silver coins. I'd change it for coins, and I saved a whole bag of silver coins when I was 17. Something inside me, nobody told me, there was nobody guiding me. I just knew there's something wrong when fake money, at Gresham's law states, fake money entered the system. And at that point, as you may know today, 2024, this is February 2024, America is now the biggest debtor nation in history. And it's only because of Gresham's law. We've been allowed to just print money, print money, print money. And the world is now filled with these fake US dollars. And what the danger today is that what we replace gold and silver with is a thing called a U.S. Treasury, a bond. And I don't touch those things. They're the phoniest things I've ever seen. Bonds are fake money, as far as I'm concerned. So Peter Kraut here is my hero because for years I'd be on Lear Capital, Peter, saying, buy silver, buy silver, buy silver. And silver, I think, was about $5 or $6 an ounce at that time. My friends keep telling me, well, when's it going to take off? When's it going to take off? You know, gold went up, S&P went up, the Magnificent Seven, which is Apple, Amazon, all took off. And what the hell is wrong with silver? So I'm very happy to hear my friend Peter Kraut here, the author of The Great Silver Bull, because he and I are both bulls on silver. I have tons of it. I opened a silver mine in Argentina. This is one of the Dore bars from it. And I have a gold mine in Utah. I am a hardcore gold and silver guy. And as you know, there's a lot of these people who are silver stackers. To them, I say, adios, mother. They stack little silver coins and little gold coins. I said, when you buy a gold mine, talk to me. When you buy a silver mine, talk to me. So I am committed to gold and silver. I've been hardcore ever since 1964. When I started, I saw this fake. I saw the U.S. Currency money go to fake money. So, Peter, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show.
Robert, it's a pleasure to be here.
So how did you join the insane and become a silver bull?
Well, I have been following it along with gold for more than 20 years and started writing about it about 15 years ago, researching and writing about it, investing it, of course, all of this time. And then about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, actually, I had been in the research and newsletter business and was out of it for about 2 years and really enjoyed it and said, I need to get back into it. And so this would have been actually right near the beginning of COVID. So in the fall of 2020. And so I connected with a woman out of Vancouver. Her name is Gwen Preston. She writes The Resource Maven, and she has her own newsletters and covers the metals space in general, and decided that we would work together. She's got the infrastructure already set up, and I launched a silver newsletter right there. And so that would have been January of 2021. And within a couple of months, a good friend and former colleague, when I worked in the newsletter business, said to me, Peter, you need to write a book on silver. And here was COVID. There was not a whole lot to do. A lot of us were spending a lot of time at home. And I said, why am I going to let a pandemic go to waste? It's time to write a book. And I had obviously lots of research I had accumulated over the years. And I said, it's now or never. So I spent about 6 months working on that very hard and said nothing to anyone because I wanted to make sure I was going to move far along enough in this project that it was going to come to fruition. And then when I got that far along, I said, okay, it's time to, I'm comfortable mentioning it to people. And thankfully, I got some, I'm very grateful. I got some help on the administrative side, on the same.
Peter, that's good. I'm a book writer also, I understand.
All right.
Everybody wants to know one thing, when the hell is silver going to take off? Because, everybody knows it's manipulated. They sell, who's it JP Morgan and those guys got fined almost $1 billion. So my question is, I started buying silver when it was 10 cents.
Right.
And you can buy a silver eagle, US eagle, for about $35.
Right.
Meanwhile, gold is pushing 2,000. And the reason I like silver is because it's an industrial metal as well as a precious metal. And silver is used in solar and batteries and all this. So it's a lot more useful than gold. So Peter, everybody like me, silver is like the Rodney Dangerfield of the precious metal business. We get no respect. So every time I used to sell for Lair Capital saying buy silver. And now I'm living to eat my words because everybody's going, well, when's it going to take off? When's it going to take off? But Peter, why has the price of silver been so suppressed? I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Why hasn't it taken off with solar and with batteries and EVs?
Well, I'm glad that you asked because, in fact, I've been looking into this very carefully in the last couple of months. And the conclusion I've come to is that there are what I call secondary supplies. So you've got supplies that come from mining. You've got supplies that come from recycling. And then you've got supplies sitting on the futures exchanges, and you've also got privately held silver. So I believe what's happening is that, and the reason I say this is because I've looked at the research and the charts, And if you look at the COMEX, the Shanghai, and the LBMA,
Wait. Peter, be careful using jargon. What does COMEX mean?
You're right. So that's the New York Futures Exchange, where you can buy and sell contracts to trade silver with leverage if you want. Now, there's a little bit of silver on the exchange.
It's like the stock market for silver.
Exactly. So you've got the equivalent in Shanghai, and you've got the equivalent in London. And what we've seen is that over the last 3 years, all three of those have seen, now this is just their overall silver holdings, have come down by about 30 to 40% across the board. If you look at what they have called registered silver, now registered silver at those exchanges is what's available for delivery. So all of it's not available for delivery, but the registered silver is available for delivery. That's down about 70%.
Wait. So what you're saying, there's some silver that's in storage, and there's some silver ready for sale.
Right.
You got to keep it simple for the rich dad audience here.
All right. Exactly. So for me, seeing that these inventories have come down so much over the last 3 years says to me that the big buyers, especially in big industrial users, like you mentioned before, for solar panels, they are buying these contracts and they're waiting for them to mature, and then they're taking delivery because they can't get enough from mining and from have to pay some fees and delivery and a few things going on around that, but they are entitled to take delivery. And so for me to see those inventories being drawn down, and I have all the charts for it, that says to me that you've got big players coming in and are taking delivery from those markets.
Who are the big players?
The big players are industrial users. And we're talking about large solar panel manufacturers. You probably also have large electronics manufacturers. I like to say we're never more than about a few feet or a yard away from silver. As you know, Robert, it's everywhere. Right. It's in your cell phone, your microphone, your tablet, your keyboard, your computer. It's all around you all the time. Most people don't realize.
Yeah, if I could explain to the my rich dad crowd here, the better conductivity is actually gold. Gold would be better, except gold is too expensive. So that's why silver is a second industrial metal as well as a precious metal. And what Peter is saying here right now, the people are actually using it, are taking it to produce with it, whereas gold sits above ground. They estimate all the gold ever produced still here. But silver is disappearing, not only every time you fire a Tomahawk missile, I think there's 1.5 pounds of silver in the nose cone. So silver is disappearing. And that's what Peter is saying. That's why he wrote The Great Silver Bull. And today, I think it's about $35 US an ounce today. I say silver is the biggest bargain I have ever seen. And I'm still buying it, because it's an industrial metal as well as a precious metal. All the gold is still left in the world, but silver is disappearing. Is that an adequate summary?
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So how come the price isn't going up then? Why does it stay flat?
So I believe that what I was saying earlier is the explanation for that, and that could go on for a little while longer. In other words, right, the demand is being met from these secondary supplies. And so as long as that can go on, and I think that we may have a year, maybe a couple of years left of that at most, that's going to probably keep the silver price relatively level. Now, that doesn't mean, and we've seen it before, as much as I do, Robert, we've seen it before when there's this FOMO or fear of missing out. People will pile into silver, following gold usually, and it just absolutely explodes and goes crazy. Now, we've seen it a few times in the past. Silver does tend to kind of move sideways. And then when this huge fear of missing out comes in and they see gold, let's say 2,500, silver at $35 is going to look like a one heck of a bargain next to gold at 2,500. So that just drives so much investment demand, and the silver price will spike.
Yeah, when the panic hits, you're going to wish you had bought more of it. But
Exactly.
I've been buying for so many years. Like I said, it was like $1 something, and I still have it. I still have it. How much silver is, the solar is the ESG, like anyway, the green use scam, they call it.
Right.
What is your forecast for solar as far as the consumption of silver?
Well, it's become huge. It's unbelievable. In the last few years, it's gone from about 100 million ounces. So that's about, say, 10% of all the silver made available every year between mining and recycling. About 10% has gone to solar. Last year, it was already at 19%. So it's more than doubled just in the last few years.
Right?
It has absolutely doubled.
I get tongue tied. The reason I say that is I talk to poor people, people who don't invest, and they're in the stock market, which to me is gambling. But anyway, everybody out there can afford a $35 silver eagle or any. So like this today was 50 cents. Today it's $10. Everybody can afford it, but they'd rather save fake money, the US dollar or the Canadian loonie or the peso or the euro. But I'd rather have silver, and silver today is $35 an ounce US, and I think is the biggest bargain of all. And I need to say this, we don't recommend anything. We just inform people. But I am a big silver bull, and that's Peter Kraut's book, The Great Silver Bull. We'll be right back to continue with Peter.
Have you heard? Hey everyone, I'm here except for a handful.
Hey, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today we're interviewing Peter Kraut. He is a silver stock investor. He's the author of The Great Silver Bull. I need to say this is we don't recommend people invest in anything. We're purely informational. But I will tell you what I invest in. And since I was a little boy, ever since I held up a U.S. coin, this 1964, and there was a copper tinger on it. And again, that was Gresham's law. That meant the government was messing with our money. It was now fake money in 64. And then 71, President Nixon took gold off of the dollar. It became all fake money. And then everybody went into what's called bonds, treasury bills and bonds. And today, the Chinese and Japanese are not buying our bonds because America is now the biggest debtor nation in the world. So we don't make recommendations. We educate people, make your own mind up. But I've been excited about interviewing Peter Kraut because I think silver is the biggest bargain on planet Earth. And I really have tons of it. This comes from my silver mine here. It was in Argentina, and we sold it to Yamana. And I've done very well by silver. So all you silver stackers out there, when you can buy a mine, you let me know. You can buy a gold mine, you let me know. But that's called commitment. You know what I mean? I am such a bull on gold and silver. One big reason. I don't trust my government. That's the main reason. We're a great country, but something is rotten in our financial markets. So Peter, what's going to happen with EVs? You know, I bought my first EV, and I call it the Grand U Scam, the green scam. But I love that car. I mean, I really do. It's a Cadillac, and it just goes flying past gas stations. And I own oil wells too, so I shouldn't be saying that. What's the future of EVs with silver in that relationship?
Well, EVs are certainly a big consumer of silver as well. We talked about solar, but the growth of EVs is certainly pushing the demand for silver higher. And what we do know is that they need more than twice as much silver as a regular internal combustion engine vehicle. So the more EVs are produced and sold, the more silver that's going to take. It's just that simple. The math is that simple.
So, China is now going to be the biggest producer of EVs. And I produced a gold mine in Dalian, China. I took it public off of the Toronto Stock Exchange. And as soon as we struck gold, the Chinese took my gold mine. So I'm not a big fan of Chinese food, although I did have it last night. But anyway, where's China going to get their silver from? Do they have a lot of it or not?
So China is arguably number 2 or 3 world producer of silver, but they don't produce anywhere near as much as they themselves need. And you just have to look at the production numbers for silver and the demand. And especially, we talked a little bit earlier about solar. Well, China completely dominates the solar industry. They are 80% of the world's solar panel manufacturing capacity. And I don't know where China's going to get their silver. I mean, they're going to have to compete with everybody else for that. I was talking about getting silver off of the Shanghai Futures Exchange. I can bet that they're standing for delivery and taking delivery there. A lot of silver goes through that exchange. But as I say, they're going to have to compete with everybody else. I'm willing to bet most of the silver produced in China doesn't leave China, just like the gold.
Right. FYI for everybody, it's one of the things that I don't trust the financial markets, is you can actually sell something you don't have. In other words, I could have, let's say, a ton of silver, or I don't have to have it, but I can sell a ton of silver. I don't even have to own it. And I can suppress the price, manipulate the price, and all that. And that's what J.P. Morgan got caught doing. They were fined $900 million, nearly $1 billion. But now is the point where supply has to keep up with demand. And the demand for silver, in my opinion, I think Peter Kraut would agree with me on this, demand for silver is going to outpace gold because it's consumed, it's disappearing. Mike, would you agree or not agree with that?
I would absolutely agree. I mean, we've seen the demand numbers rise dramatically for silver in the last, say, 3 to 4 years. Global demand is really growing very quickly, and And the projections are for that to continue as well. Now, and we also talked about before why is the silver price kind of flat through this kind of market, and what's going to happen? Well, we've seen that there have been what we call structural deficits every year. In the last 3 years, there's been a shortage of silver. If you just look at what's comes from mining and from recycling versus the demand overall. And the Silver Institute forecast these deficits are going to continue for years going forward. I think they're being met by big players taking delivery from these markets, these futures markets, where you have these are large bars of silver, 1,000-ounce bars usually. That's where they're standing for delivery. They're taking that, they're melting it down, and they're using it in solar panels, electronics, and everything else. But that's only going to last so long. We see that those markets are draining. We have the charts to show that those markets their inventories are falling very quickly. There's perhaps a year or two left. That's it.
Right. And for those who may not understand the futures markets and those exchanges, it's a completely different world than, buying silver from your coin shop or something like that. In the paper market, the stock market and futures markets and all that, you can sell naked puts, which means you get paid for selling something you don't own. And what Peter is saying is some of those guys should be caught naked. Do you know what I mean? They actually sold something they don't have. And what Peter is saying is people are not playing that game as much now. They're actually saying, no, I want the silver. They're not playing games with it at this point. And let me say it again, is every Tomahawk missile, which is fired off and pounding away at the poor people of Ukraine and Russia, I think there's 14 pounds of silver in it. You don't get it back. And the landfills are filled with silver, and the cost to extract it is more than the price of silver today. Silver is the biggest bargain, and everybody, even a poor beggar in the street, can make $35 in a couple hours of begging. You know what I mean? But they'd rather have the fake money, the paper money, versus the real money. Why do you think that is, Peter?
We've been conditioned. I think people have been conditioned to believe in paper money over what was real money. Silver and gold were real money for 5,000 years. It's the last 50 years, like you said, since silver has been taken out of coinage. Gold's been no longer backing the dollar, for example. So it's only the last 50 years, and I consider that to be an experiment. We're living in an experiment, and it's not going well. When I wrote the book, I looked at what had been happening worldwide to the money supply. And the money supply was up 5 times in the last 20 years. So, it's unreal. It's something like $300 trillion floating around in the financial system right now. It's not sustainable. It is not sustainable. They're printing like crazy. And, COVID was an example of when it went into overdrive, and it hasn't stopped. We are printing like crazy, and reality is going to hit, and it's probably not going to take all that long.
Right.
I want to be ready.
Let me add one more thing. To this is what happened in 64 and 71. Silver went out of this, and gold went out of this in 71. And so this here is real gold. This is about $2,000 today. And this is real silver. It's about $35 today. Okay. So they're printing so much of this, they can't. Now it's what he's saying, the supply is increasing. But what's increasing faster is our debt. And this guy Biden, in his, what do you call it, inflation reduction, he opens the border up. He cuts off the Keystone pipeline from Canada to America. The price of oil goes through the roof. But let me ask you this question on, silver and gold. Why is it that people would rather have this garbage?
I think they've been brainwashed. They see it around. It's been talked up. It's the, you always see the dollar sign as the goal of what to own, and or what to have more of, and they don't realize that the dollar is the dollar, and it has that reputation because it was backed by gold for nearly a century. And if you look back over history, every every true reserve currency that has been, a country that has been an empire, has dominated the world, exactly, eventually gone, but for a long time backed by some kind of gold or silver. And eventually they decide, you know what, it's more convenient to take that out of the currency so we can print all we want. The demise of the Roman Empire is attributed to printing.
And the frightening thing is every time this fake money disappears, wars start. And,
Yes.
that's my, look at the wars starting all over the world right now because of fake money.
Exactly.
But this is the other thing here is, a lot of people are buying Bitcoin. And I own a lot of Bitcoin. I own the whole coins. I don't own Satoshis. But Bitcoin is the same reason I buy gold and silver. I don't trust the dollar. But the point of view here is this: Bitcoin has no real use.
Mm-hmm.
And gold is too expensive to use. Is my logic fitting your logic here?
It certainly is.
And silver is still extremely useful. Anything you want to say about how useful silver is and why it's consumed?
So, in my book, I consider it the Swiss Army knife of metals because it has so many applications. Almost every week, there's some kind of new patent that comes out on a use for silver. So we talked about solar. That's becoming the 800-pound gorilla in the solar market, in the silver market. You've got electronics and electrical applications. You find it in medicine. Because it's a natural biocide. It kills bacteria, and the bacteria do not grow accustomed like they do to things like penicillin. So it's multi-purpose.
That during the old days, when the pioneers were coming across America, they put a silver coin inside their water barrels.
That's right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
The people would put it in a wine barrel as well. It would help keep the wine fresh. We use it in water filtration systems, so that tells you how it kills bacteria. It's indispensable, really. I like to say silver because of solar. Silver is the new oil, but it's going to be the next uranium. And if you've seen what's happened in the uranium price in the last maybe 5 months, it's doubled in price. Silver has that kind of behavior. Look for that to happen again.
Yeah. So again, I own gold mines and silver mines. I sold my silver mine to Yaman and all this. So all you silver stackers here, this is what comes out of a real mine. Here's my mine. Stack this, you know what I mean? That's how committed to gold and silver I am. And how green I've become is once I bought that EV, because a lot of controversy about it, is it really, I just bought one. And now I'm going to put a solar panel on my house because I have a separate garage for my cars. And I'm going to put a solar panel on top of the roof just so that my car is totally green. But that's going to increase that price. But also what's happening in India, because every time I'm in India, they wear a lot of silver there. They like silver.
Absolutely. India is one of the world's biggest consumers of silver. They absolutely love it. In fact, it's interesting you mentioned India. I mean, I like to kind of mention just quickly that if you look at what's been happening in two other big places with large populations, Turkey and Egypt. Turkey has 65% annual inflation. Imports of silver to Turkey have been off the charts. In Egypt, it's a tradition to give gold, actually, to a newlywed, to the woman, or to give gold for a newborn baby. Well, gold's become too expensive in Egypt, so they're now turning to silver as well. And you've had the price of silver in the last 3 years has doubled in Egypt, in the Egyptian pound, and in Turkey it's up 7 times in the last 3 years. It's just off the charts. These countries know real money, and that's why they've been through this so many times before and so badly that we should look to them to see how they behave. They know what they're doing. The population knows what they're doing.
Right. So we're so fast out of time. Again, this is Peter Kraut, author of The Great Silver Bull. Please get this. Remember, this is February 2024. This is a U.S. eagle. It's a buffalo. It's a buffalo. It's $35. Everybody in the world can afford $35, but the poor people want this stuff here. It's really, really sad because the national debt's through the roof. Solar's increasing. Batteries are increasing. and people rather have this than this. That's why they're poor. Anyway, Peter, thank you very much. Please get his book, The Great Silver Bull, and keep up the good work. All right. Thank you.
All right. There you go.
Okay, everybody. So we'll be right back with the final words from Rich Dad. We'll be right back. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. I want to thank Peter Kraut for his book, The Great Silver Bull. And again, once again, Rich Dad makes no recommendations. We're pure educational only. And please do your own research on this whole thing. But this here is an ounce of silver. This here is an ounce of gold. It takes about 2,000 of these to buy this. And today about 35 of these to buy this here. I'd rather have this. This is $35. Everybody in the world can afford $35, no matter what currency they're in. Yet for some reason, as Peter says, people have been conditioned to take toilet paper instead of real money. So with that said, thank you for listening to the Rich Dad Radio Show. This is the biggest bargain in February 2024, bigger than Bitcoin, because this is burned up and is disappearing at high rates of speed. This is increasing, and Bitcoin is going to cap off at 21 million coins. That's the difference. Thank you for watching the Rich Dad Radio Show.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.
Like fire flickering and dancing, you add less fuel if you want things to cool, and more fuel if you want things to heat up. Enough heat gives rise to creative, productive energy, but too much heat can burn both you and others. Cooling things a little gives rise to a nurturing warmth, but too little fuel and the fire could go out completely. The 11 of fire symbolizes an opportunity to take a moment to evaluate your life and ask yourself whether you need to embrace a little more masculine or feminine energy in your day-to-day activities and relationships. Do you need to step up and be a little more assertive or proactive? Does something or someone need your protection? Are you not nurturing yourself or others enough? Are you being overly analytical instead of heeding your intuition? Are you allowing impatience to get the better of you? When your situation calls for calm and compromise, are you choosing a path of inaction when you need to embrace one of action in order to manifest the changes you need? Pause for a moment, evaluate, and bring your masculine and feminine energies back into a harmonious alignment with your life and your needs. Yeah. That is very important. When we are imbalanced with our masculine, feminine, and our inner child, you can see we are out of balance. One will have compassion, too much compassion. One won't have enough. And what I'm seeing is people that didn't have enough are starting to get the compassion. And the people that had too much compassion are starting to get the strength. So we're trying to balance ourselves out, but we're not there yet. And as they say, we're not there yet. I mean, you can't make this crap up. These people can't even say anything. They're asked the question like, well, they're not there. Well, we're there, and we're watching you're there, and we're not happy with the there. So it's time to quit there, and then tell the truth. Truth will set you free, right? So do something out of the box that you normally don't do and try to bring your masculine and feminine into balance together and work on that, But make sure you hit the likey button, and we're calling it the magic manifestation button. We've talked about that. Playing this game, I keep forgetting to tell everybody. Playing this game that when you come in, manifest something significant in your life. Nothing crazy, just something that you can play with when you're meditating and keep saying it. And my husband said it out loud twice, and it's come true. And I keep telling him, manifest it out loud if that's what's happening. If you're saying, I would really love, that's what he said, I would really love to have this. And he set it out in the ether. And within 1 or 2 days, you got it. But practice with something small, like I need $20 for gas by next Friday, or I wish a friend would call, uh, I haven't talked to in a long time, or something significant but small, and practice with that and gradually go up. Come back in the comments, tell us about your experience. I read all the comments. I absolutely love them, and I'm so grateful for every one of you. So, I've been blabbing all night. I've had so much to talk about, and so much has happened. So, I'm going to get back into the cards. We got the number 2, the maiden. And the maiden is follow your dreams, discover your passions, focus on self-discovery, address self-imposed limits and restrictions, increase independence, seek your own answers, release feelings of fear and abandonment, craving attention, needing rescue, expressing goals and desires, be true to self, acting with empathy. Now, with this, we want to be true to self. Maiden is kind of almost like the inner child going on a journey. It's like the inner child that has leveled up in wisdom and is now the inner teenager, whether it's male or female. They're 2 little girls, so there's pink, which is love, and that's showing me the pink roses are love, friendship. The bunny, white bunny, is love. Okay. And she is all love. She's got the butterfly right up here at her hand, and she's got the flowers in her hair. And she's just enjoying the day. And this one has the hummingbird right there, and the light and the pink all around. And the pink is not for a girl. The pink is for the purity and the love. Purity of the maiden and the child. We have to have that purity. If we have too much masculine and feminine, okay, we have too much of one. Say we're too cryy and compassionate and want to help everybody and get ripped off all the time. Okay, there's a woman that's just compassionate and just all feminine with no masculine there to have a backbone. But okay, we have, like, say, a woman or man that doesn't take nothing but helps people, but doesn't take anybody ripping them off. That's something that has the feminine, the need that she'll serve, and the masculine where they're not going to put up with anything that you're going to do. They're going to help you with your needs, but they're not going to be taken advantage of. But then these 2 are the pure at heart. This is the inner child, and this is the leveling up in the wisdom of the maiden card coming out as the inner child. These are really good cards because the maiden walks an unfamiliar path, but does so with confidence and grace. She has been taught by those around her that it is not selfish or conceited to follow her dreams and activities, work to manifest her goals and desires. She does so without needing permission from anyone. Much like her male counterpart, the youth, the modern maiden, is not afraid to ask questions, challenge the answers, and be the adventurous explorer. But while the youth explores new horizons, the maiden explores herself. The maiden is equally interested in first discovering and then nurturing her interests and increasing her self-knowledge and exploring her waking, sexuality, and her adulthood. I mean, she is exploring everything about herself. She forms relationships with healthy boundaries and expresses her innocence, pride, and confidence. When she chooses to take a lover for the first time, it will be done without shame or fear of judgment. If she chooses to remain alone, it is not because she believes herself to be undesirable, but because she does not believe that she needs a lover in order to be happy or fulfilled. That's true, because when I went through what I went through, I don't need anybody to fulfill me. I could probably be okay with living on my own. With 7 years ago, no way. 10 years ago, absolutely not. Now, I probably could. Because I love myself. Not ego love, the love, the God love. I was God smacked. Let's just put it that way. And we can call God source, the all there is, the all there ever was, the I am, whatever we want to call our creator. Let's not be crazy about a name. I don't think there is a name, to tell you the truth. Okay. The maiden card is one of the youthful confidence, empowering, and increasing independence. She is fertile, but uses the fertile nature to create, express, and explore. She is on a journey of self-discovery, focusing on learning more about who she is and what makes her happy. And she knows that her exploration in the present will give rise to a future self who knows what she wants from life and is not afraid to make it happen. The maiden was expected to do as she was told and be true to the expectations of family and society. The maiden chooses to begin the journey towards self-awareness and empowerment. That is a great metaphor. We were expected to be something. We were told to be something. But the maiden made a choice to begin a journey of self-awareness and empowerment. So she is not looking on the outside for her answers. She's looking at self and she's empowering herself. This has been an amazing message for me too, because I bawled like a baby earlier. That child card really got to me. And with the maiden, we got the magician, and that's the manifestation. I keep telling everybody, please, hit the lakey magic manifestation button. Make a manifestation. Just do it. That way I can know that you guys are like playing with the maiden, the boy, the girl, whatever it is. Don't put sex into this. And the inner child and balancing the masculine, feminine, because we're going to get ready for this. We're going to start manifesting. We are co-creators. Everybody says, "Oh, y'all think you're gods." No, we don't think we're gods. We're co-creators. It says it in their Bible. They had to write a lot of truths. There is a lot of good truths in the Bible. We are going to learn that the religion and spirituality can be combined in beauty, not devilish and evil. Because, if you think about it, this is like a eureka moment, because I just thought about this. When you read the Old Testament, it has all kinds of villains and craziness and rituals and psychotic and weird and scary stuff. It scares the crap out of you. Okay, now we got a tarot deck, oracle deck, whatever it is, that I'm channeling messages from the I am, from God. That's my ancestors, my spirit guides, everybody. We all do. And we're showing these, and they see something like, oh my God, that's evil. Have you ever read the Old Testament? That's the scariest story I've ever heard. I mean, some of it, not all of it, but a lot of it. So we can't judge a book by its cover. And we have to look at our perception, step back and relook at it. Okay? Because the earth cards and the oracles are going to be earthly creatures. Hello. It's just like every fairy tale and story you've ever heard, but this is reality, because this is mystery school and earth school. This is things that happened in our past, or our past life, or another dimension, or something. Because things that I've seen now, I started writing a book back in 1985. I never finished it, but it was all about things like this. I already seen things like this. And then I had the dream about 2 years ago about the book that I seen. So I did see the Crystal City. I've been there. And we can manifest. And this is what this is trying to tell us. This is so important, guys. I mean, my soul family, I would not steer you wrong. There's nothing I'm getting off of this. I'm here to help everybody to find peace and to manifest the beauty that we all need. Every one of us. We're all going. We're all going on a journey together. This is our time to shine. It really is. The oceanic magician is the commander of the deep. He calls forward the dolphins, seahorses, sharks, and sea turtles. These are the four creatures of the minor arcana. On his table are the four traditional suits emblems, the cup, wand, swords, and pentacles. His left palm is open, showing he is a manifester or alchemist, one who weaves magic with the energies of spirit, the earth, and the ocean. The magician looks directly into your eyes to ask, what can you make happen? All the conditions for your future success are perfect. So now is the right time to take action. You have the resources and talent to attract whatever you want, from a new relationship to a business enterprise, project, or trip. Above all, the magician sees you in the creative flow of life, full of energy and purpose. Communication speeds up when the magician appears, so you may find you're talking and texting more than usual and at work. Present your ideas. You'll also find that others support your efforts. The time is now. Take action and you will find success. Yeah. Communication, energy, creativity, travel, money, support, new enterprises. We're all going on a new direction. We're just not there yet, but we're getting there real soon. I think, we got about 9 months till the election. I think we're going to have the Black Swan event way before that. I think the Black Swan event is going to be real soon, like this month. I'm hoping, I'm prepared, get some water, get some supplies, be ready for at least 2 or 3 weeks of enjoying a movie, a documentary that's played 24/7, 7 days a week, for a while, so we all learn, but get ready. Okay, now, we did the maiden, we're on the journey, we know the manifestation, we know that that is very important. But now, what is next? What would be next that we really need to pay attention to? These are great cards. I mean, these messages came out so sweet. It was scary. We got another number 11, which is another master number. That masculine feminine was a master, which really needs to be paid attention to, okay? The maiden and the child were minor arcanas. Okay, so those are ones to pay attention to. 4 of water was just a regular card, but that had the 3 of wands with it, which is a divine message. So every card that we've got just about, the magician was number 1. We got a number 11, body and mind. And this is the 11 of air. This is be open-minded and questioning. You are only limited by your mind. Be discerning. How is your mind affecting your body? How is your body affecting your mind? Facts are certainties. Opinions are not facts. We can only change ourselves. Okay. We got to remember that people are telling you something, but it's their opinion. Unless it's a fact, they can prove, like, say, I tried, I've been using, let's say I've been using castor oil on my hair to make it grow, or on my eyebrows to make them grow. It will work. On my back with a heating pad to help my arthritis or something, and it will work because I've tried it. Like, that is proof and a fact that, and you're not lying, people, to make money, okay? But that is a fact that it happened because you experienced it. Say I videotaped it and I did a heating pad with castor oil and I was able to walk, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not making any money. I'm not making any momentary nothing. And I'm telling you this. And you try it and you're like, oh my God, it is a fact. That's a fact. But an opinion is like me saying, God, I think you're such a jerk. That's my opinion. Somebody else might think you're Mr. or Mrs. Wonderful. That's their opinion. So remember that. That's not a fact. That's something to hurt somebody's feelings because you really just don't like them, and that's okay because my energy just didn't match with yours, and that's okay. So this is a great, and this has the two masks too. If you look at this card, it's got two masks and self in the middle. And this is all like the Matrix right here. This is like ding, 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 source energy. What is reality and what is imagined? What is fact and what is fiction? Can that which dwells within the mind have an effect on the body? And can the physical body affect the state of mind? The 11 of air symbolizes a need to keep a healthy understanding of the relationship between mind and body, the power each can have over the other. It symbolizes being able to differentiate between fact and opinion and to make room for the imagination within our realities, while still embracing a little bit of reality within our imaginations. This may be a challenging card for some because the eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive. So the more rigid the mind, the more difficult it is to accept how much influence and power the mind and body have over each other. If the mind is unwilling or limited, then understanding is difficult, and acceptance is sometimes circumstances may be impossible. We all know someone who, no matter how many times they are offered facts, not opinions or theories, still cannot believe unless they witness it for their own eyes or experience it personally, and even then they still might not believe it. They are complete skeptics. Then there are others who are open to everything and question nothing. They would believe you if you were to tell them that you did not see a blue sky above, but instead saw a pink one. Yes, there are actually people who see and perceive colors differently, but this person is so open-minded that they would not consider that a lie is offered. They would not question, even willing to believe in the good of others, that they accept everything offered, whether it be true or deceptive. Their willingness to trust and follow blindly gets them into just as much strife as those who find it difficult to believe in anything beyond their own experiences. The 11 of air appears to remind us that somewhere in the middle of the two is a better way to be. Strive to be open-minded and questioning. Sometimes a little skepticism and discernment can serve to protect you from making foolish mistakes and following blindly as you are led off a cliff. On the other hand, believing only in facts, the reality that you experience with our physical sense can close you off to reaching your fullest potential. You may limit yourself and what you can accomplish because achieving goals and living your dreams requires a belief in something more than just tangible. When the 11 of air appears in your cards, it also asks that you look at the impact your beliefs might be having upon your body and the impact your lifestyle and diet might be having on your mind. The mind can and does have amazing power over the body. Some Tibetan monks and Indian yogis have become so skilled at using meditation to manipulate their bodies that they can control blood pressure, body temperature, heart rate, and more. People with multiple personality disorders have been known to have personalities that have completely different health statuses. They can have one personality that physically needs glasses in order to see properly, and another that does not. There are some with personalities that exhibit a range of physical health issues, such as high blood pressure and diabetes, but other personalities that have no health issues at all. And these differences have been witnessed, recorded, and studied by both medical practitioners and scientists alike. It is a fact that the mind can alter the body. How is your mind affecting your body? In the same way, the mind can alter the body. The body can also alter the mind. Researchers now show that if the body is unhealthy, for example, there are issues within the gut such as GERD, candida, irritable bowel syndrome, and Crohn's disease. The mind too can be affected. Imbalances within the gut can lead to depression, anxiety, irritable hyperactivity, and inability to focus or concentrate, and memory lapse. Pain and inflammation can also have similar effects upon the mind, especially if they impact on the ability to sleep. How is your body affecting your mind? It is important to understand that what you believe in your mind can have an impact on your body. And what you do to your body can have an impact on your mind. Just like the Indian yogis and Tibetan monks, you have it within you to have so much more control that you might believe. And sometimes the biggest changes can be made just by learning to see a positive lesson within a negative experience, or telling yourself that you can and will instead of you can't and shouldn't. You can also you can do almost anything you set your mind and body to do. The 11 of air also addresses the subject of fact and opinion and discerning between the two. We all have opinions, and those opinions may be valid if based on knowledge and a personal experience. But opinions and facts are not the same thing. A fact is something that has been proven to be true, and the truth is based in certainty and consistency. It is a fact that night follows day. It is a fact that we live on a planet that is made up of oceans and land masses. It is a fact that rain falls from the sky. It is a fact that rainbows are created when light shines through water particles. A fact for something that cannot be disputed. An opinion can be disputed. For example, it is an opinion that all dogs have fleas. A dog owner might have had many dogs, and all of those dogs may have had fleas, but this does not make the statement that all dogs have fleas factual. It is his opinion, based on his personal experience. The fact is that not all dogs have fleas. Some do and others don't. The 11 of air asks you to be wise to the differences. When offering information to others, be sure that what you offer is fact. Be clear when you are offering opinions based on your personal experience, but might be truth to you, might not be truth for someone else. Don't get caught up in a game of I am right and you are wrong. When you are basing your arguments on opinions, facts are certainties, while opinions might be true for the individual, but can be subject to dispute when looked at from the perspective of another. A wee note should be also made of the difference between something that has been proven to be fact and something that is theological. A theory to great extent, but it must always be remembered that theories are based upon, can be proven to be factual. It is only a guess. We can theorize all that we want, but we should be careful not to offer theories and conjectures and facts. Our minds, our imaginations are amazing creative tools. With our minds and imaginations, we have the ability to shape our reality and to create our reality, but that reality is also shaped by absolute. The 11 of air asks us not to become so lost in our imaginings that we forget reality. Instead, we do best to remember that there needs to be a proactive harmony and acceptance of both. We can literally change our minds, and in doing so alter our physical state, but we do so within a physical reality that is full of certainties that we have no control over. We can only control ourselves and our perception of the world. When you differentiate between what is factual about your own mind and self and what is simply theory or opinion-based belief, you can change what is within both so that your mind and body are one and not working against each other. You can see that a true fact is a fact and rarely changed, while opinions change all the time, irrespective of the facts, and can exist side by side with contradictory truths because they are often based on our perception and understanding as opposed to reality. Like the other 11 cards, the 11 of air is a balancing and realigning card. It is, if it appears within your reading, it does so in order for you to determine if there is an imbalance at play and suggests that you meditate upon the subject. Yeah, we are all right now out of balance. I mean, some of us are getting there, but I have my moments still that I go out of balance and I got to get myself back in. Okay, this has been a long reading so far, and I am not even close to being done. Okay, I gotta quit talking so much. You guys are gonna get sick of me blabbing. We got the Eight of Swords as a clarifier. We did not get a feminine masculine clarifier. It wouldn't come out, so we didn't need a clarifier with that. So I went on. The Eight of Swords is restriction. Now, the body, mind, and soul is what can restrict you. Remember that. Because these two masks right here and this person in the middle, it's all, it could be, yeah. Okay, the Eight of Swords. 8 means change, and the 8 sees you on the brink of that change as you realize the way you're being restricted by your circumstances at work, in a relationship, or a project. The card often shows a relationship is on lockdown because one of you is not free to make a commitment. An additional meaning is being bound by too much responsibility. Get practical and see that you are in control of your own future, regardless of what others think. You can free yourself by being less tolerant of the demands of others. Separation, fear, burdens, lack of vision, being stuck, responsibility, and change. Yeah, our mind, body can stick us very easily with our thought patterns. So then we got another visitor, another Arcana card. We got the 5, the Father. And the Father is a great message for us because the other day, it was Sunday, we got the Mother. We got a lot of feminine. That tonight we're getting a lot of masculine. The center of power within a family unit, a time for decisive action, a source of strength, not fear. What did your father teach you? Set up and take charge. Guided instruction and inspire confidence. Be interested and supportive, not critical. The buck stops with you. Fulfill your obligations, allow others their autonomy. Share all tasks and responsibilities. Step out of the Stone Age. The Father card appears. It will take you back to childhood. This message will be influenced by your relationship that you had with your own parents and how it has shaped their perception, your perception of self and world around you. While the Father is often depicted as a very gender-specific archetype, both father and mother play a defining role in how strong this aspect of self is within the individual. Was your father an approachable man who was actively present and interested in your life? Did he express an interest in the lives of his wife and children? Or was he a distant provider who went off to work and came home to clean and order the house, where a hot dinner was waiting and children were seen and not heard? Was your father a loving man who hugged you close, carried you on his shoulder, and bandaged your knee when you fell down? Did he build sandcastles with toy dozers and share a cup of tea with Teddy? Or was he stern, distant man who interacted little, offered praise only for accomplishments, and meted out punishment when you disobeyed or broke his rules? My father was more of the working man, was always gone working, but he was very loving. He was a very loving father when he had to be. He was very distant. He had his own life going on and he didn't want kids. He had a mission, and his mission was stalled by falling in love with my mother that wanted kids. How did your father interact with your mother? My father loved my mother with everything. My father showed me how to treat a woman and how a woman treats man. and then you get into reality, and that's not, they don't exist anymore like that. The woman's angry and the man's angry, everybody's angry, and it's a he said, she said thing, and nobody wins. It's a lose-lose situation, unfortunately.